going live. Hi, this is Keiko from Brooklyn Shoe Space. How are you? For Shoe Talks Quarantine Edition. It's kind of silly to call it Quarantine Edition, but we still are in the middle of it. End of August. We're speaking with Dustin Lauw of Duck's Heritage Leather out from Texas. He's on right now, so I am going to invite him. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for taking the time with me today. How
Absolutely. Thank you.
how are you doing? What is going on during this pandemic for you? How has it been since March? Have you been
I'm
able to
doing
work in the
good.
studio?
Yeah, absolutely. Business has slowed down considerably, but
Hmm.
the past 3 weeks seen a huge resurgence of business, so I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah. And everybody's healthy, your community is good?
Yeah, so Central Texas didn't really take that bad of a hit.
Okay,
I think the larger
good.
did, but I'm right in the middle of the state, so we didn't. I mean, we saw a little bit of it, but it wasn't too bad.
Okay. Oh, good. Good, good, good. Yeah, no, for all of us who's watching, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into boot making,
Yeah,
and who
it's
is your mentor?
it's kind of a long, drawn out story, but I've been in leather work my whole life.
Uh-huh.
My parents took me to leather. My grandpa did leather work, and my great grandpa did leather work. So I'm
Wow.
generation, and
Uh-huh.
I happened to accidentally stumble across custom cowboy boots when I was 21,
Uh-huh.
and I ordered boots, and the fit was just so wonderful that I lost interest in all of their leather work and decided that I wanted to learn how to make boots. So the
Uh-huh.
man who made me a pair of boots became my mentor eventually. I asked him if he would teach me, and he agreed. And
Who,
I ended up inheriting his shop when he passed away. So,
wow. Okay, so is that Duck from the
yeah,
namesake?
Duck, Duck
That's
Minsey's.
Duck. Wow. And did he just happen to be in your town? Is that how it worked? Or
Uh,
how did
um,
you first come upon him and his boots? Or-
uh, so I was at a dice game, and I saw a man wearing a pair of boots and that were very unique looking. And I
Mm-hmm.
asked the man about them, and he told me who made them. So
Uh-huh.
I guess it was the next Monday, I went and ordered a pair from Duck, and he made my first pair, and then I went back to
Uh-huh.
the second pair, and by the
Uh-huh.
I had my second pair, I was just completely hooked or just completely ate up over custom boots. So I wanted to take my leather work further. I was going to be a saddle maker.
Oh,
And
wow.
when I
Hmm.
found out about boots and how they fit, then I lost interest in saddles.
Yeah.
Then I approached Duck one day if he would teach me, and he agreed.
Yeah.
And that
That's
started
great.
about a 20-year relationship between he and I.
Wow. Wow. That's great. And what did he teach you first? Do you remember like what kind of process he taught you?
Yeah, so with Duck, it was always about fit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, he would say things to me, and one of the notable things that's carried with me through years that no matter how many hours you put in a pair of boots, and no matter how beautiful you make them, if they don't fit to the customer's
Yeah.
liking, might as well go in the trash. So
Right.
fit was just hammered into me at the very beginning, and
Uh-huh.
I still do that today.
Yeah.
uh, One of the most important lessons that he ever taught me was not only are you trying to fit the customer's feet, you're
Yeah.
trying to interpret what they believe to be a good fit. So you're trying to
Uh-huh.
fit also, you're trying to fit their mind. Uh,
Right.
so fit's very subjective. It's different between
Right.
people fit on a customer, but if they don't like
Yeah.
the boots aren't good. So
Right. 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 Oh, interesting. So did he get you into like measuring the feet first or no? What kind of did he teach bottoming
Oh,
first? Did
real
he
early.
teach you sewing?
Yeah, no, so real early. Well, yeah, there was a lot of sewing at first, getting control of sewing machines, and
Hmm.
I didn't learn how to sew with clutch motor or with servo motors. I learned to sew in clutch motors, um,
Mm.
and then so it was a lot of decorative stitching, and then it was a
Yeah,
lot of sizing and going over last and how different feet or different structures of different feet would determine not only how the boots would pull on, how tight they would pull on, but how they would fit the
it would
foot.
fit on. Right,
Uh,
right. So cool. So you've been making shoes for almost 20 plus years?
yeah, so I was with Duck all total from right now probably 20 years is how long
Uh-huh.
it. Duck passed away 6 or 7 years ago, so
Wow.
since he passed away.
Right.
Uh,
Wow. Sorry to hear, but I feel like you're carrying his legacy in a way.
yeah,
Um,
he was
yeah.
close, and Duck was probably one of the most renowned Texas makers. So
Hmm.
I just got lucky that he was near
Yeah.
me, and
Yeah. That's so great.
yeah.
Jennifer York asks, what is your favorite machine?
Um, so I have two sewing
Hmm.
machines,
Hmm.
or I guess one wouldn't be considered a sewing machine. I have two machines. They both belong to Duck. One of them is a Landis Model F made in 1936, and I sold with. And then the
Wow.
other is a ladies FAF 141 that I do my decorative stitching on. I think we're going to take a tour later, and I'll
Yeah, that'd
show
be
them.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you're in your shop right now. Do you think you can show us? Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So let me disconnect here.
Yeah. And maybe you show us also if you have like a favorite hand tool as well that you treasure.
Absolutely. So my shop is it's modeled after the shop that I learned bootmaking in, and I built
Oh,
a shop on my property, and when I rebuilt it, I built it to the exact
uh-huh.
specs as the old shop, and I put everything back in the same place. So I had a super
Wow.
that once I transitioned over, I'd forget how to make boots. So I wanted everything to be in place. So when I started making
Yeah.
a new shop, I knew where everything was at. I'm going to turn my camera
Wow.
on if I can do
Sure.
this. Okay,
Yeah,
so
you can tell. Yeah.
this is coming
Yeah.
in my front door, and it's just a
Okay.
real small little room. It's just kind of a little
Oh, this,
showroom,
yeah,
and
display of your shoes, your
these
boots.
are Duck's personal boots that I
Oh,
inherited,
okay.
passed away. These were
Oh,
made for himself. So, um,
wow.
and files in a filing cabinet. It's just a tiny little
Yeah.
little room. When I designed the shop, I
Yeah.
did put openings
Yeah.
in so there would be a flow from the workshop into the showroom, so I can always look
Uh-huh.
uh,
Look
into the
in. I
workshop.
see. I see. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then
If you don't
entering the
mind,
shop.
if you don't mind,
Pardon?
if you don't mind moving a little slowly, just because I think there's a little bit of lag. Yeah,
Oh,
that's yeah,
sorry.
just like no, it's okay. This is great. Is that the
Um,
Landis?
Yes, so entering the workshop, the first thing you see is the Landis Model F, and this is what I sew all my soles.
Wow.
I also have a model
Wow.
used on repair boots, and
Uh-huh.
I have an American curved needle
Ooh.
set up to do side seaming with.
Side
So
seam. Oh, so you use three.
yeah, I quit using the American. I'm using a modern a cowboy 4500 to do my side seams now. But this one
Oh,
has been altered to where it can do side seams. It just has a wider top that was added to it, or work
wow.
top, whatever it's called. So,
Wow.
but I rate this. So uh, the machine that I use mostly is this Model F. See my
Wow.
oil stain.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I saw somewhere on your Instagram that this machine you had to learn on your own. What's that?
Yeah, so
Is this
that's
a
a really
machine?
interesting
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Duck was real particular about the sole stitchers, and he wouldn't let
Uh-huh.
anyone touch them. So the whole
Right.
time that I with Duck, I never got to stitch soles. So after he died
Wow.
was when I got these, and
Uh-huh.
so a bootmaker by the name of Alan Bell in
Uh-huh.
Abilene, Texas, told me that stitching soles, and once you acquire the muscle memory, then it's real easy.
Right.
I would have just such an intense rush of adrenaline before I would stitch soles, but
I
now
bet.
it's very easy now, so I don't even
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah. Do you
Anyway,
know how to
moving things
fix them as
off.
well? Did, did you figure out how to fix
You know,
them? Mm-hmm.
I can just kind of make minor adjustments on them and
Nice.
things, but
Uh-huh.
I can't fix them. So
Yeah.
um, I do other leather work other than
Mm.
boots. So boots make up about 95% of what I do. So it's
Nice.
a Cobra Class 18,
Oh.
Singer 241,
Mhm.
FAF 130. Just a little antique FAF machine. I love sewing machines.
Yeah.
Going. And this would be my cutting table where I got all my
Mm.
patterns at,
Yeah.
and then of
Oh,
course
the leather.
leather bin.
Yeah. Oh,
So
you're so organized.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
thank you.
What type of
And
leather
here's
do you like to use the
well
most?
in bootmaking and shoemaking,
Uh-huh.
it's all chrome, obviously. My favorite
Yeah.
leather to work with is bullhide. I think
Bullhide.
bullhide makes a very good durable boot.
Mm-hmm.
It can be used as a work boot or obviously a dress boot also. And
Right.
turn this. So yeah, bullhide's wonderful. It comes in all sorts of colors. Just very very
Uh-huh.
durable leather. I also
Uh-huh.
like kangaroo, and I like working with American alligator also.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Alligators. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. I love it. Like it's so color coordinated. Is it organized by
Oh
color?
yeah. Well, yeah. Pardon?
Is it organized by color? Sort of. It
Yeah,
looks
yeah, I
very.
try to. So like I've got
Mhm.
yellows and oranges, browns and
Uh-huh.
tans, uh,
Uh-huh.
reds and blues, whites,
Yeah.
greens,
Yeah.
grays, and blacks. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
color coordinated.
Yeah. It's really
Uh,
nice.
so this is a 1925. This is my line finisher. This is what I do all
Hmm.
the boot finishing on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also have a Jackmaster for the sake of having a grit and high RPM. So when I'm shaping heels or trimming, this is
Yeah.
a very good machine for that. And I
Yeah.
can jump over to a slower RPM, 40 grit
Yeah.
or an 80 grit. So
Right. Right.
yeah.
Right. Is there any
This is
machine that you is there
pardon?
any machine that you is there any machine that you acquired after Duck has passed? Sort of like as like your own machine?
Yeah. So I Yeah, so I have several Cobra machines in here. I believe in Cobra. In fact, I'm very good friends with the people who run Cobra, and they've
Mm.
become pretty good friends. So I
Mm-hmm.
do like their machines. I do keep a Cobra 5550 that I also use for top stitching, and this
Mm.
is a real good machine for stitching boot tops.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry,
absolutely.
I didn't mean to cut you off,
Oh,
but I
I
was
probably
wondering because I feel like maybe you expanded a little bit of your shop.
Yeah, a lot of the machinery and equipment I have in here it's not too practical for boot making. Um, like, I keep a Cobra Class 26 that I have no
Wow.
reason to own it, but I can make belts and
Yeah.
wallets with
Oh,
it.
yeah. Or bags.
Yeah, in fact, I've made a couple bags with this. So, and then
Mm-hmm.
this is a machine that I started side seaming with, which is a straight needle Cowboy 4500. So it's a very good machine.
It's called Cowboy 4500. Wow.
Cowboy 40, absolutely. And the same
Cool.
thing, it just has a longer cylinder arm.
Yeah.
Cowboy 3500 or Cowboy 3200 would do the same thing. And this is actually the same machine as a Cobra Class 4, which is a popular machine. And I
Yeah.
think if I go back and redo the purchase, I would have just gotten the Cobra.
Right.
So,
Right. I
but
see. I
good.
see.
Mm-hmm. I keep a
Wow.
post machine in here also, and post machine I sew on pull straps and
Uh-huh.
or mule ear pull straps. So this is real handy for
Mm.
doing having to get down into the boot tops to do pull
Yeah.
straps. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. Okay.
I just keep moving around, but coming around. This is my wall of last. That's where I keep all the last at.
Wow.
Have them sized, and
Beautiful.
I'll write the customer's name as I
Uh-huh.
make the boot. And
Yeah.
so I have a lot of customers, and
Uh-huh. And they come back over and
yeah,
over.
I
Mm.
bet just about almost every pair for a new customer they order a second pair. So,
Very nice.
and then this is where I do all my inlay work at. I'll do all my
Uh-huh.
inlay work
Uh-huh.
right here, gluing
Uh-huh.
and top assembly. And
Uh-huh.
am I still going too fast?
No, it's okay. It's great. You're
Okay,
so
wonderful.
organized. I mean, your shop is really clean. It's really
Well,
nice.
I spend the majority of my life in here, so I just want it
Yeah.
to be a certain way.
Or
And
yeah. Yeah.
so,
That way you can, yeah, it's easier to focus on work. Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, is that something you're working on right now with the last?
Yeah, so this is a pair
Cool.
that I'm about to size, and that's going to
Mm-hmm.
be for the boots that I put together yesterday, or actually Saturday.
Mm.
So these just went together, and
Mm.
that's going to be the pair of last for them. I typically work on two pair of boots at a
Uh-huh.
time, and this is a pair that I've
Oh,
got
okay.
going right now. Some full quill ostrich with
Ooh.
some inlays.
Wow. Wow. And do the customers kind of tell you what kind of designs they wish, or do you get to kind of give them something
It's about
from
half, I
mm-hmm,
think.
mm-hmm,
A lot of customers really want a lot of input, even red
mm-hmm.
color, and
Really? Mm-hmm.
but fortunately, about half my customers let me do just whatever I want to, and
Nice.
so I have a chance to design new stitch patterns and just
Uh-huh.
do different things.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that that's
Like the one that you're just working on, I feel like is it, yeah, I feel like it's different.
yeah. He let me go with the colors and everything, so
Yeah.
he wanted this particular inlay done to it, but aside from this inlay,
Yeah.
he let me do everything else. He let me do the pick the top color, the stitch color,
Uh-huh.
and things.
Uh-huh. Very cool. Very cool. I actually have a comment from somebody. Oh, MD Custom Boots.
Matt, hey Matt, how are you?
Yeah, Matt is actually a meeting. I'm going to be talking with him soon. But I
Yeah,
asked about the
Matt's
bootmakers gathering. Please, this room is where I heard the best conversation of my lifetime. The bootmaker gathering. Yes, I hear a lot of it about it too from other bootmakers. This year was postponed, I heard. But
yeah.
that you
So
do you host it? Is this where you host?
yes, I do. 10 or 11 years ago, Duck
Uh-huh.
Minsey started doing a gathering here in the town that I live in,
Uh-huh.
and it was real popular, and it kept growing year by year. And then
Uh-huh.
uh, Duck got sick, and he eventually died. But Lee
Right.
and Carl Miller started hosting it, and we're still doing it here in this town.
Yeah.
And we had a conflict in scheduling at the venue that we do it, so we
Mm.
decided to do it at my shop, and then Lee and Carlin handed it over to me, so I've been doing it for a few years now. But yeah, we had to cancel. It's typically the third weekend in April, and so this year, the zombie apocalypse happened, and so we had to cancel.
Yeah. Right. Right, right, right.
This
But
is
it,
the F-141 that I think Jennifer asked about earlier. So this is what I
oh,
do
okay.
on.
Ooh,
Yeah.
what cool.
It's red.
One for you have a lot of stickers. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. So organized. I
Uh,
love the rainbows.
this is a bottom.
Wow, the materials. Uh-huh.
I do all my bottoming, putting soles on and stuff. You
Yeah.
asked about
Yeah.
hand tools. I think
Yes, I'm curious.
probably
What's your
uh,
favorite?
one of the most used. Yeah, it would probably be a lip knife, particularly a Terry Nipshield lip knife. I
Uh-huh.
keep them all through the shop because you tend to set one down and you forget where you put it. So I keep one at each workstation, and the Terry Nipshields are the absolute best as far
Oh,
as I think.
cool.
In fact, he's the only custom maker doing lip knives right now. But yeah, they're wonderful.
Oh, cool. Oh, wow. Wow, wow. I love the table that you have too. Wow. Okay. And then you have the
Oh,
crimping boards. Do you make your own crimping boards?
yeah, so actually, there's a little bit of truth to that. I had a man with a bandsaw actually cut them out, and then
Uh-huh.
later on, as I need them, or boards, and I'll shape them as they need to
Right.
be. But so
Right.
I did rough cut out. So I
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
crimp. I know that's a big debate in our world, but I believe in crimping, and
Uh-huh.
it's how I got, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
think there's really anything anyone can say to convince me otherwise. So I'll always do it.
Right. Right. Yeah. Do you feel like do you at those not conventions, but the gatherings, you learn about other people's techniques? And do you compare it sometimes
Well,
to yours? And do you
yeah,
feel like
absolutely.
is there something that you know that you do differently from everybody?
Well, one of the good things about one man shops like this
Uh-huh.
that we really, sorry, I'm setting the phone up. We're all really close. We're all really good friends,
Yeah.
and we don't
Yeah.
view each other to talk. We talk. In fact, you just interviewed Wes Shugart, I think,
Yeah.
last week. Wes
Yeah.
and I are very good friends. We
Yeah.
speak on the daily. In fact,
Oh, that's great.
I was on with him earlier. Got on, but so everyone has a slightly different version of how they do
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
and we all get to the same end product. You know, I think I do things pretty much the same as everyone else. There's a few things that are maybe different.
Uh-huh.
The old thing is that the last, and
Yeah.
when I start a pair of boots, I would kind of rough select a last that will get sized, but I don't
Uh-huh.
size it for. I set the last off to the side. When I side seam the boots and turn them, I tree them
Uh-huh.
out lasting. And I know a lot of people won't tree the boots out till after the last comes out of the boot. But
Right.
I'll boot out to size and then last
Huh.
it. And
Uh-huh.
the behind that is, or how it was taught, is that the
Mm-hmm.
boot will set better on the cone of the last and make
Uh-huh.
last. So I tree out, and I like to leave my boot tops in. I think I showed you those hanging. I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm even. They're hanging over there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like
I
to leave them
saw,
on the.
yeah. Uh-huh.
I like to leave them on the tree for 2 or 3 days,
Yeah.
and then while they're on the tree, then I'll size my last. So
Mm.
I'll start one morning. The last will be sized. I'll put insoles on, and then I'll start lasting the boot. So
Mm. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. And that's you were saying that that's how you were taught?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I again, last comes
Set up.
first.
Right.
It's kind of, but I necessary.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
necessary because last is obviously, but
Right. Do you also get to work on your own boots as well? Do you wear your own work? Uh,
yeah, yeah, I do. And I think one of your questions was about boot heights. Remove this.
mhm.
So here's some of my personal boots that I wear,
Yeah.
and I'll just kind of talk about boot heights.
Mm.
This is a 9-inch tall boot that I
Yeah.
made a couple of years ago
Uh-huh.
for myself.
Uh-huh.
This is a 12-inch pair.
Uh-huh.
Coincidentally, this was the first pair that Duck made me in '94. So these boots are
Wow.
26 years old. And then I made this pair. They're
Uh-huh.
17-inch tops,
Cool.
and I made these for myself. I don't
Uh-huh.
know, a couple of years ago. Also, I prefer a 12-inch tall top boot.
Uh-huh.
It seems to be a very Central Texas, Ray Jones, Duck Minsey sort of look.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
typically I say 12-inch,
Mm.
but I have worn and made shorter and then obviously taller. I've always got projects for myself going, but
That's
projects for
cool.
me
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
they don't pay my bills. So I'll
Right.
start them and just put them off to the side. So here's a pair of kangaroo boots that I've started,
Ooh.
and maybe I'll finish. So those will be real neat. And I'll do a lot of inlay
Yeah.
work in the top.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
this was
That's
another
really cool.
pair to just for a pair of work boots, lime
Uh-huh.
green and orange.
Wow. I like the
So
color
the
combos. Yeah.
crazy. They don't make any sense, but I just thought, they'd be good for me to wear. So
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. That's great. Oh, and what do you call, I forget the name of the stitches at the vamp. The placement always seems really hard, but you have
Oh,
it right
this
there. I just saw.
the toe flower, toe flower or
Yeah.
toe bug.
It's called
Um,
toe flower. Mm-hmm.
yeah, toe flower or toe bug. It's
Mm-hmm.
really funny because if you turn it upside down, in my stupid way of thinking, it looks like a lobster. So I call it a toe lobster. So,
Toe lobster.
so every maker has this is kind of the signature of the maker when you see that
Yeah.
5
Yeah.
maker. This was
Mm-hmm.
one that Duck used in a lot from probably the mid to late '80s up to 2000, and so I've
Mm.
re-adopted it. And this is the one that I use. I'm very protective of it, and when I see
Yeah.
mass-produced boots using something similar, I mean, I can't do anything about it, but I do tend to get offended by it. So
Right. Right.
anyway,
No,
this
absolutely.
this is Duck's bug, and I still, and then as
Very
you can
cool.
see, it's on a new pair. So
Yes. Wow.
yeah,
Very cool. Very cool. Super. It's beautiful lines. What's your
thank
favorite boot
you.
that you've ever worked on?
It's funny because you actually posted a picture of them. There were
Oh
boots
yeah?
that had wind inlaid and the name
Yeah.
Janie Sue in them, and those
Yeah.
boots. A
Is
friend
there a
of
story
mine.
behind it? Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're for a friend of mine, and
Uh-huh.
she said do whatever I wanted to, but she wanted windmills on them. And I said,
Mm.
okay, well, fine. And so I started doing the windmills, and the name Janie Sue, it's like, gosh, if you got a name like Janie Sue, you have to have that on your boots. So I inlaid it on her boots and didn't tell her. And I took her the boots, and she was surprised and she liked them. So
Oh,
repair.
that.
I think solely because I like inlay work so much. So
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Like, what's the favorite process of boot making for you?
Probably anything decorative. I love top
Decorative?
stitch. Um,
Mm-hmm.
also, it's certainly not the easiest thing for me to do, but the lasting process.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know if it's my favorite step, but I certainly connect with it because I think when you last a pair of cowboy boots is when
Mm-hmm.
they become boots. They
The
start
looks, look, they start looking like boots.
when
Yeah.
they come alive, and
Yeah.
like once you get them lasted and they can stand on their own, it's like
Mm-hmm.
wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, teaching is my favorite thing to do.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Cool.
Uh,
Because I think I also read on your Instagram somewhere that you put your foot in your mouth, saying that you liked welting. And then
yeah,
that
Duck had me do a lot of welting. Well, I did. I
yeah.
told him one day. I said, Duck. I said, I like inseaming. Why don't you just let me inseam all of your boots? And he said, okay, it's your job. And so
Okay.
I've inseamed hundreds of pair of boots, and
Wow.
but I did it so that I didn't like it. And but looking back on it, I can do it. And again, it comes down to muscle memory.
Yeah, yeah,
And about it, it's automatic, so it's
yeah.
extremely easy. And I think it was intentional. Duck would do that. He would teach me a step, and he would have me do that step over and over for a year, and
Right,
start thinking that and then he would add another step to the process.
right,
So I think
right.
that's a very effective way of teaching someone how to make boots,
Yeah.
and uh, hopefully, you don't burn someone out on
Yeah,
part of the process. But if you don't burn them out, then they'll know how to do it.
yeah, yeah. Do you feel like the favorites might have changed during the course of the years, maybe? Like maybe you used to like the tops, the design stitching more, or at some point of your career, maybe you did like the welting more.
But yeah,
Do you feel?
I liked the inseaming at first, and then just
Mm-hmm.
it was
Yeah.
maybe a little bit boring. I think the top stitching will always be my favorite part. So
Cool.
it's what it.
Cool.
And I do. I hate it when a customer does not want a toe bug on their boots,
Yeah.
and the toe bug is a signature. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of boot enthusiasts out there who are familiar with the different bugs or whatever, and I want someone to be able to look at a pair of boots and identify them as mine.
Mm.
That toe flower is a way to do that.
Mm.
So
That's really cool.
boots, yeah, and the
Yeah.
it's not very hard at all. It's pretty easy.
Mm. Mm. From experience, I feel like. What boots are you wearing now, or what shoes are you wearing now?
I'm wearing a pair of boots that Duck made me in 1995.
Uh-huh.
And they're pretty much my everyday boots.
Yeah, like workshop boots.
They're extremely comfortable,
Ah, uh-huh.
ugly, and dirty,
Texas. Yes.
and they are made of bull hide. So that's what.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Do you like rounder toes?
Um. Oh my gosh, I don't know if we want to talk about toes or not. Yeah, I do like what I call a three-quarter round toe. So it's a
Three-quarter round toe. Mm-hmm.
slightly wide round toe.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite toe is a 1 to 1.5 inch wide traditional box toe.
Okay. Oh, is that the one that I saw on your short boot, like the nine
Yeah,
inch tall one?
I
Mm-hmm.
love box toes. Now I
Yeah.
hate square toe boots, and
Oh,
I hate
you do?
wide square,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
it's just not a look that I think belongs on cowboy boots.
Right, right. And then how about what do you think about pointy?
Yeah, I like them. I mean,
You like them?
toes go,
That
and I think they're making a comeback.
yeah.
think I think we'll be doing a lot more of those in the future. I think this
Hmm.
wide, round, flat toe that the big manufacturers are doing to appeal to young people, I think those are going to go out of style. I think they're hideous.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's a customer for, I guess, in a
Well,
way.
ultimately, I'll make what the customer wants because that's what makes my house payment. So,
Right, right, right.
uh,
What do you think out of your clients, what's the percentage? So do they have a preference? Do they normally go for pointier toe?
for a while, it was wide square toe. I had
Wow.
a lot of younger customers.
Uh-huh.
That's what they're seeing when they go to the stores.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I think
That's a
now it's
hard one.
for me it's trending back to wider round toes.
Mm, okay.
Um, I do
Yeah.
box all day long if I could. I absolutely love them and love how they
Yeah.
look.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. So how long does it take to make the two pairs that you work at a time?
Well, I'll get to a point, or
Mm-hmm.
at the point now where the boots that are treed out,
Mm-hmm.
I'll work on those in their entirety until they're finished, and then I'll do
Mm-hmm.
the other pair. It takes me 45, 50 hours to make a pair of boots.
Yeah.
You know, there's it,
Resting time and
well, there's
yeah.
dry time, and you know, I've made boots. You know, started boots on Monday and finished on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that's rare. I think in count of days, uh, anywhere from maybe 6 to 10 days, but a
Yeah.
cumulative of maybe 50 hours, depending on how much inlay work or top stitch. So,
Yeah. Wow. And do you have a lot of patterns that you keep? Like, do you also have like archives that you keep for clients to also look at while you
oh
have like
yeah,
the
absolutely.
design conversation? Mm-hmm.
Patterns. At one point, back in the 70s,
Mm-hmm.
Duck had bought out a boot shop
Mm-hmm.
and who made boots, and I've got all of his stitch patterns that go back from the 1940s, 50s
Wow.
up to, and I've got
Wow.
everything that Duck out, and I've got patterns that I've drawn out. So I have a lot
Wow.
of stitch patterns.
Do you ever refer back to them or
Yeah, you know, well, yeah. So I've got one stitch pattern that I've done over and over and over again, and I call it
uh-huh.
just my shop. But
Uh-huh.
it's fun to change it up, and it's fun to look at vintage patterns. Um,
Yeah.
you know, uh, coincidentally, this man whom Duck had bought out, his son, his son's now in his 70s, has just
Uh-huh.
ordered a pair of boots from me, and
Oh.
I used one of his dad's stitch patterns.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That is so cool. How many boots do you feel like you've made in your lifetime?
Since Duck's been dead, I think I'm somewhere around 200 pair. But I've
Wow.
done hundreds of pair while he was alive. So I was with Duck for
Right.
years and
Yeah.
had my hand. You know, there's no telling how many pair. It's been a,
Right.
you know,
Right. And then also, I guess at the time it was more collaborative in a way. You worked with him. So like he would do part of the boot and you would as well.
yeah,
Yeah. I
late
see, I see.
because toward the end he was letting me do most everything, top stitch,
Right.
bottoming, everything.
Right. Right. Yeah. What is your favorite thing about having your own workshop and like working on your own? And what's your least favorite thing?
The favorite thing is, well, and I work alone.
Uh-huh.
You have an apprentice that comes once or twice a week, but for the most part, I work alone. So
Uh-huh.
I like the fact that I can turn my music up as
Yeah.
and I can just work. I can come.
Uh-huh.
In fact, my boot shop is next door to my house.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
walk to
Uh-huh.
mornings. I
Yeah.
go as I please. I don't have to put in
Yeah.
application. I don't have to. I don't want or don't like working for other people. The bad thing about doing it is the bookwork, paying taxes, and
Mm.
all that.
Right, right, right.
Not fun. So
Yeah. Yeah. And during this, like, I guess I know you're independent for like five, six-ish, seven-ish years, but
mhm.
even before that with Duck, has there ever been like a challenge for you in the business or in boot making that
when when
you might have overcome? Hmm.
when when Duck was alive, the hardest thing for me to get down was patterning, and
Yeah.
the math, and
Mm.
making the boots fit.
Hmm.
One of the things that Duck always told me about fitting is, there's intuition.
Yeah.
Sometimes the, you have to think it's going to be that way. Um, as far as challenges go, right after Duck passed away, I did have a maker uh,
Uh-huh.
became at odds with me, I guess,
Huh.
and there were some things said that really challenged my confidence. And
Oh.
about 6 months to a year after Duck passed away, I was going to quit. I was going to
Oh my goodness. Uh-huh.
believe that I couldn't do it. But on the other,
Oh.
one
Yeah.
one of the most well-known makers ever is
Uh-huh.
Robin, and I'll never forget. Tex called me and told me not to quit, that I was
Right.
capable of doing it, and
Yeah.
so I stuck with it. It's just persevere,
Yeah.
and it worked.
Perseverance. Yeah, no, absolutely. The years that you've put in,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not something that can be easily learned, quickly either. So, yeah, I'm glad you're still doing it.
Well, whenever you make a mistake, even if it's a costly mistake, and the most costliest mistake you can make is misfitting a pair of boots, you
Right.
you learn from those mistakes pretty fast. You don't
Right.
you only want to make it one time, so
Yeah. 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 That's great. In the future, so if you had all the resources in the world, available to you and no worries about life, what kind of boots would you make? And for who?
I'd make boots for celebrities, and I'd make them as bright and as loud as I possibly could. I would
Uh-huh.
make boots where I could be totally creative and do
Uh-huh.
whatever I wanted to. A lot of my customers right now, even though they they give me free reign to do what I want,
Yeah.
there's still a budget involved, and I still
Right.
have to be sure what I do is going to make me money.
Right.
But yeah, for rock and roll stars, someone that I should mention, uh, that's a huge inspiration for me. I've got several people that inspire me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Earlier, I think Wes and I inspire each other, but Hollywood Riff Raff, Pascal is a very good friend of mine.
Uh-huh.
Pascal is making the kind of boots that I wish I could make. Though I'm
Uh-huh.
capable of making them, my customer base doesn't allow it. And so Pascal's,
Mm.
LA,
Mm.
um, his boots reflect that. And those are the boots that I want to make.
Yeah. Okay, cool. One day, one day that you might do that, you know? Where do you think you want to be in like 5 years?
In 5 years, I want to have an employee who's doing
Mm.
just one employee doing repair work, and
Mm-hmm.
I want total three people in the shop, myself and two others. One doing
Uh-huh.
work, and someone who's always apprenticing to learn.
Uh-huh.
Um, aside from, I don't ever want to get out of niche boot making, or
Yeah.
I don't the identity of being a one man shop.
Right.
Um, a one man shop with apprentices is different. I don't want to think that I have to mass produce boots, even
Right.
scale. Um,
Yeah.
I think I want to stay small batch. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a barrier as to how much I can grow, and because I can only grow as much as I can work. Um,
Right.
I still want to be known, or want the shop to be known as a one pair at a time shop. So,
Yeah. 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 The question I was gonna ask next was apprenticeship, but so you said you have an apprentice right now?
yeah, I have a young man who comes once or twice,
Uh-huh.
and he's very sharp. He's catching on very fast. Uh,
Uh-huh.
I should maybe speak about apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Doing I don't know if I'm capable of teaching anyone anything, but he's doing really good. So that must be a good reflection upon myself.
Yeah.
I was, I was doing 2-week courses, and I have I feel, I don't know, I have mixed feelings on that. I think to learn
Yeah.
this craft, or to learn any craft for that matter, I believe in apprenticeships.
Yeah. So
I
longer
believe that
term. Hmm.
oh yeah, absolutely. I believe any crafts person
Yeah.
is obligated to their craft to pass it on and to teach someone
Yeah.
else. And I
Yeah.
see people doing that, like Lee
Yeah.
Miller is. Uh, what Lee is doing for the craft is wonderful, because he's teaching young people, and
Yeah.
that's going to be the future of the craft. So that's, and that goes back to your 5-year question. That's what I would like to do, is to
Yeah.
um, just teach more people how to do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
uh,
And
ours,
also maybe, hmm
I'm sorry,
sorry.
go ahead. No,
Oh,
you're fine.
I was just gonna say how I think, yeah, like you're saying, like longer term apprenticeship, so that it's almost maybe not as long as 20 years, maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe they'll want to stay for 20 years, but something that's long so that they also work for you to grow as well, and they really learn that way. So that
Absolutely.
it's not a quick, like, half a year. I don't know, half a year is pretty long in modern times, but it's still like just a class. So you can't really
Well,
learn everything.
want instant gratification, and so people
Yeah.
want to go to a 10-day boot school, and they want to be bootmakers when they come out, and it's simply not. It doesn't happen that way. That's not the way life works. And
Yeah.
so I've heard that bootmaking is a dying art, and I disagree with that, because I see more and more people interested in it.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
I
I
see
agree.
bootmakers pop up on Instagram every day, that the rest of us are like, who in the world was that?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are interested in it, and
Hmm.
but I think to preserve the craft,
Yeah.
I think apprenticeships will be the saving grace of it, or keep it from dying. Uh,
Yeah.
and this is just solely my opinion, but I think if someone goes through a 2-week course, you can't teach someone how to make boots in 2 weeks. It's impossible. You can show them how boots are made in 2 weeks, but you can't teach someone how to make boots in 2 weeks. And I think people go to classes with the high expectation that they'll be bootmakers when it's all said and done, and then they get out, and for whatever reason they don't jump right back into it, and they wait a few months, and then they get back to it and realize they forgot everything that they learned in the class,
Yeah.
and then they lose interest in it altogether.
Right.
So,
Right.
and that's one of the reasons I mean, I believe apprenticeships are the way to go. If
Yeah.
you invest, I have no idea what Duck saw in me, but he obviously thought investing his time in me was worth it. Um, so I think master makers, and I'm not implying that I'm a master by any means, but I believe master makers need to keep an eye out for people who would potentially be the next generation in the craft.
Yeah.
Their time.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I agree. Do you feel like you're in not intern, sorry, apprentice right now is somebody who can stick it out?
I think he is. Yeah, I think he will.
That's great. That's great.
And that's the whole thing, is how bad you want something. And
Yeah.
you know, if you want something bad enough,
Yeah.
you'll find a way.
Yeah.
If you don't really want it bad enough, you'll find an excuse. So,
Right.
um,
Right.
yeah, it's just how bad you want it.
Yeah. Do you also participate in the round, what's it called? You guys have like this competitions
Yeah,
where uh you send in, yeah, you send in your boots
I just
and
drive.
somebody,
Yeah, it's about a 3 or 4 hour drive, but
uh-huh,
it's yeah, that's in October, and
October.
that's because again, as I said, a lot of us, most of us are friends, and sometimes
Yeah.
it's the only time of the year you get to see some of your friends. So, in
Yeah.
fact, the last time West and was this last October. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
The
good show.
yeah. Are you going to participate this year? I
No, well, I'm not.
no.
You know, if I go to it, it might just be a day trip. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have boots that are going to be ready to enter or boots that I think are worthy to enter.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
um, so I mean, but it's really
Got it.
neat though because you know, the again the craft is so niche that you know,
Yeah.
just friends. We're friends with the vendors. We're
Yeah.
friends with you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah. Very cool. I, I know somebody who makes like a third pair, like so it's a pair and a half, so that they have like a sample left in the shop. Do you ever do that, or do you take photos?
no, I just take photos.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a good idea to do that, but um,
It's a
you know,
lot of
again, I
a lot of
yeah, it's
space
a lot.
and a lot of work.
I mean, typically boots that I make for myself, I'll wear them a few times and then I'll just put them down here in the shop for people to look at. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a good idea. You know, I chose to do boot making uh, as a career, and
Yeah.
so while I understand that person doing that, you know, if you made you know, 4 pair of boots a month, but every pair that you turned out a half pair. That's an extra 2 pair of boots. It's an extra 4 boots. For me, that extra 2 pair of boots, uh, again, can pay bills, or you know,
Yes.
yeah, I don't build any. I should, but I don't have any display boots.
Right. Right. But you have photos and Instagram.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, and yeah, it's wonderful. And Facebook, I guess.
A lot of
Yeah,
Instagram. It's really neat. So
yeah, yeah. I'm finding out there's way more Western bootmakers, once I started opening the lid or the box, you call it.
yeah,
So yeah, no, thanks for also, mentioning some other makers that I should check out. Yeah,
yeah.
it's great.
Dean Jackson would be one. I would say talk to Pascal, but Pascal won't let himself be filmed. So
Oh, okay.
I mentioned to Dean Jackson a few days ago. Dean
Uh-huh.
is mine, and he's a very accomplished maker. So he
All
might
right.
be a guy to talk to.
Yeah, I'll try that. But thank you so much. I mean, it's middle of the day. I feel like I don't want to, you know, um, interrupt your day. But
No,
can
no.
I can I ask you what you have on your walls? Do you have, is it like photos, right behind you, I think,
Let me put.
on the sides?
Yeah, let me put this boot on. Um, hold on. This is
Yeah, and the boots hanging from the the ceiling too. There's a story behind it, I bet.
yeah. So I built this shop myself, and
Yeah.
I ran out of money while I was building it, so I temporarily put OSB on the ceilings. Um,
Uh-huh.
I wanted to do the workspace in this beaded pine ceiling, but I ran out of money.
Uh-huh.
So I did OSB, and I was just looking for a stupid, creative way to cover the ceiling. So I did license plates,
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
place. I still have a lot left to do, but um, I just
It's cool.
because I spend so much time in here, I decorate
Yeah,
just based on my interest or
yeah,
musical or whatever.
yeah,
Just art from different people that I know, and
yeah, yeah.
yeah, just stupid
Oh, cars.
stupid
Yeah,
things. I I like pre-60s hot rods and cars, so
yeah,
I tend
yeah.
to favor that.
Cool. Do
And
you do you ride one as well? Do you ride
I
old
own a 19.
vintage?
Well, yeah, I
Sorry,
own
you
a
just skipped that.
1944 model,
1944.
a 1924 Model T, Ford Model T hot rod.
Yeah.
Actually,
Wow.
these are prints from a friend of mine by the name of Sean Dickinson, and
Uh-huh.
not that anyone watching would know this, but this depicts the band called the Cramps, and the lead
Hmm.
singer Lux Interior, and then his wife Poison Ivy, and uh,
Cool.
this is a big thing that I painted. This is Jim Heath of the Reverend Horton Heat. And
Multi-talented. You painted that?
yeah, but
Yeah.
I used the
You
projector.
said you painted that? That's
Yeah,
amazing.
no, I cheated. I used a projector and then I penciled it on and then painted it. So it's stupid,
I
but
don't know if that's called cheating. I think it's great.
no, it
But
is. I mean,
what,
I
like, oh, yeah, that's
could never
great.
with that. But
Wow.
and in my showroom, this is art by another friend of mine by the name of Max Grundy in Los Angeles.
Uh-huh.
I made him a pair of boots 5 or 6 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Kind of
Uh-huh.
collect his
Wow.
art. So
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Very cool. Very, very cool.
thank you.
Yeah. Oh, nice. It's nice that you can see through the glass to your shop.
Yeah, so in the old shop, the line finisher was on this back wall, and
Uh-huh.
during the finisher, people could walk in the door, and and they would just walk
Uh-huh.
in, and then I'd turn around and someone standing there
Right.
scared me. So I added the center wall in the shop and put the finisher on the
Right.
wall, but I have this opening where I can glance up and see the front door,
Can
and
see.
see if someone drives up outside.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's everything's for a purpose, but the shelf is the correct
Yeah.
height for. I'm 6 feet tall, but the shelf is the correct height that I can level boots out, and I can have the boots that I level to
Nice.
me, and I can go
Nice.
ahead and level
Nice.
everything out. But as I'm
Yeah.
sanding with the loud noise, I can glance up and see the front door. So
Right. Okay. Wow. The shop is customized to you too. It's great. Oh my goodness. Thank you so, so much for taking the time to show us your space, a little bit about your work. Um, yeah. And yeah, no, thank you for hosting the gathering. Please keep on doing that. Maybe next year you're gonna keep on doing the gathering.
yeah, I think so. If we don't have COVID or some other sort of
Yeah.
infectious disease that
Oh, yeah.
stops mankind. Yeah, I'll still have.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
And I'll see you sometime on the online in the, in the ether.
Heck yeah.
But I would love to come and visit. It's like one of the dreams to like drive through all the makers.
Yeah,
So thank you so much.
a lot of people here. I think you even interviewed Maya. I don't know if she's watching or not. Maya's
Yeah.
been here. Wes has been here. A lot of people.
Yeah. 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 I think out of all the bootmakers, I think everybody knows you.
No,
So
no,
yeah.
they probably talk about how bad I am or something.
No, 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 no. That's great. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.